Welcome to Status Quo, literal dog shit. Stream on the Codable, and the Skywarn coordinator claims that it's Verizon's fault that he doesn't know how to turn the bitrate up in VoD.
Yeah, anyways, this is the ERN podcast. Welcome to episode 5. Wow, 5 episodes in already. Feels weird.
Wow.
Yeah, so if you guys might have noticed, if you guys listened to last week's episode, it kind of sounded like ass. I had to pull the backup recording because of Dawn.
Thank you,
Don's
Don.
Wi-Fi, I swear to God.
Yeah, no, okay, so Insider, so Riverside usually gives me WAV files for everyone once the call is done, and it's all synced. But Dawn had like 12 files.
Yeah.
But they were not synced, and they were not in the right spot. So I just pulled the backup recording.
Riverside, good job.
The other
It's not
thing
Riverside's
is,
fault, it's his internet's fault.
No, here's the thing. Don is the kind of person where if it wasn't working on one browser window, he would open up another and another and another, and then he'd like join 3 times in a row and have 3 separate recordings that would record and then stop, and it would just screwed up his recordings basically entirely.
Oh yeah, it was such a pain.
Not as bad as when I screwed up my TFT a couple days ago.
Yeah, I was talking to Gabe about Don's recording, and I was like, do I try to edit this, or do I just pull the backup?
Yeah.
I'm sure you could guess what I did, but...
So I don't know if you actually remember this. I don't know if you remember this from, I think, Thursday or Wednesday, but I actually broke my TFT. The TFT started to randomly send a weekly test every 2 minutes. And I tried to reset it when I was home. I tried to unplug it, tried to reset it, and it wouldn't work. So from about 7 a.m. till like 3:30 p.m., it would send a weekly every 2 minutes. So I have a literal recording on my laptop of 6 hours of weeklies. Literally 6 hours of it just going off every 2 minutes. It's really funny.
Do you know what caused that?
I still have no clue what happened, but I did a big hard reset of it. Works just fine. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, those TFTs are bulletproof.
But the fact that TFT recovered from that is actually insane. And Marley told me it could have been the clock battery, it could have been like a relay or something, but I'm like, I don't know. I hold on the reset button for a while and it just stops doing it. The exit button for a while. It works. It works.
Yeah, I tell you, those TFTs are bulletproof. They'll have issues like that. You reset it, and then they're fine again.
Yeah.
So if you're looking for a first encoder, go TFT. They're bulletproof.
Yes. Believe me, we've tried. We've tried.
Yeah.
For reference, we know we did not shoot a TFT.
Yet.
Not yet.
Not yet. Not yet.
Honestly, knowing TFT, you could shoot it, and it would be just fine.
Pretty much.
This episode is sponsored by Time Frequency Technologies.
No, this episode is actually sponsored by WACN Technologies.
It always is.
It always
But
is.
Is it really?
Hey, we're partnered with WACN Technologies.
As long as I'm here, it's sponsored. Hey, I can leave right now.
Leaves right now. The first 4 minutes is sponsored by WACN Technologies.
So I'm going to slide this topic in because we kind of discussed this on the 3rd episode about WEA being WEA. And I was checking through my iPause email, the email I get my iPause stuff through, because iPause sends me emails every once in a while because, I know people. And apparently iPause has been recently... It has been recently conducting a test where it is currently seeking partners with alert originators and also other agencies to conduct a WEA performance test in the 3rd quarter of 2022, which I'm pretty sure is a good thing considering it's a certain county in Colorado that sends like 25 fucking demos for a siren test, which, why?
It kind of sounds like your TFT.
So they call it the Public Safety and Homeland Security Bureau, the PSHSB, is doing this test, I believe, so since the third quarter of 2022, which I think is probably this summer, but we'll see what happens, because the deadline for the test actually was on May 22nd for the interest forms, so I'm not entirely sure who signed up, and I'm not sure exactly what they're testing with, like, in regards if this is a live test or a test. But like,
I guess it's like, especially considering there's no national EAS test, I guess it helps.
yes, they also are doing the iPause users conference on July 27th with live WIA tests for effective messaging from a social scientist who studies public relations to alerts. So good stuff, I guess, from iPause this year. It's also free. I might go.
There's more things happening with iPause than DASDEC with the DASDEC-III.
Yeah.
Oh man, it says please share this. It says actually please share this announcement with agencies currently not using iPause. Ooh, I can go to this one. Although it's on fucking July 27th, so I'm going out of town that weekend. So
yeah, no. Speaking of that relating to DAS still hasn't sent us or anyone any information on the DAS-III. So yeah.
This episode is sponsored by the Integrated Public Alerting and Warning System.
if it could be worse, it could be NPAWS. Sponsored by Canada. Canada, we do things just a little bit different, including calling fucking Reese's peanut butter cups Reese.
Hold on 1 second. I'm gonna mute. It sounds like there's gunshots outside. Let me confirm that.
Pleasant. Anyways, so I'm sure Lawson can relate to that at some point. But yeah, so WIA tests, convention stuff. Honestly, I think it's good. I wonder if that all just happens in the background, like, and it's not. Is it public or?
It's that was sent to a private email list, so I don't think you got it, but I think it's gonna be private testing through probably the test server network, because God knows if it's going over live. It's probably not.
All right. New update. Not gunshots. Fireworks. I think somebody got the wrong idea, and instead of going off on July 4th, they're going off on June 4th. I don't know. They both start with
Classic
J.
Wisconsin.
Yeah. Well, yeah,
Classic
there's
Wisconsin.
legitimately fireworks going off. I just hear some loud banging outside. I look like I'm looking around, can't find anything. I look north, and I just see fireworks, and I'm like,
Just be like Lawson. Just get used to it.
that's interesting. Yeah.
I'm sure Lawson knows what I'm talking about.
It is my life.
I gotta get in contact with somebody at FEMA to try and get an iPause lab tour. I gotta do it at some point. It's like across the bridge from me. It's like really not that far away. I'm the closest one to FEMA and iPause lab, so maybe we'll see that on the new episode of the podcast in a couple months. I'm gonna try and get some stuff working. God knows if I can, but
Yeah, I think that'd be interesting. It'd be a good topic. Definitely our listeners
it
would
would be
definitely
cool.
want
I would
wanna hear it.
definitely do a recap. If I could go to the iPause lab, I would totally do a recap of how it works and what's in there. Because there's all sorts of cool stuff in there, I bet.
Oh, yeah. You might find a 911 Plus.
No,
There
no,
could
you
actually
won't.
be one in
Here-
there.
No. The reason why is that it never sold. I actually confirmed this the other day. The 911 Plus never sold. And in fact, it seems like it never actually made it through iPod certification before TFT shut down. So there might be one. But
There might
who
be
knows?
one in the iPause lab, God knows where, but there could be one. Because it has to go through FEMA and iPause before it can be certified. Remember? Like, everything has to go through FEMA and iPause.
Judging how I have looked through photos and I saw a bunch of TFT gear even after TFT has gone defunct, there might be one. I don't know. So
That
far,
honestly might be an interesting thing to look at if you do manage to get a tour.
So far, it looks like there isn't, though. Which is unfortunate,
wouldn't hurt to
because
ask,
that
though.
is the coolest unit.
Except for the price that they were going to sell it for.
It was not cheap.
What was it again?
I think it's around 12,000, if not more.
Jeez.
Yeah.
And you could just buy a DASDEC today for $4,000.
I pause webinar how to minimize alerting delays. Laughs in Virginia State Police Amber Alerts. Fucking, it'll take a year, I swear.
That's in New York City. It took them a whole day and a half to issue a SIM.
Sounds about right. But yeah, so speaking of DASDEC and stuff, I finished my move to Missoula from Great Falls. So now my ERN station now covers the Missoula area. So the Missoula RMT, be able to get that now. So yeah, that should be exciting. I was thinking about doing local alerts here in Great Falls because that's where I'm recording right now. But I was suggested to use my TFT for it, but I don't have enough equipment for that. I was thinking about it, but
Unfortunate.
yeah.
You should just do what Emma.
Well, that's what I was thinking about doing, but I would need to go get another computer to run it and then pipe it to me. Or ERN. I'm sure you get what I mean. Yeah, so not much news going on right now. DAS hasn't released. They said we covered it in one of our other episodes. DASDEC-III should have been released on the 1st. It is now the 4th. And if my math classes serve me right, 4 is greater than 1.
Yeah.
But
I don't know what's going
To
on
be
there.
fair, I don't know if their website has the new pictures of the DAS on. I'm looking at their website right now. It still has the old DAS decks on it, but
well, that's the thing
yeah.
is they said it was supposed to release on their website on the 1st.
I don't see any news releases since April 15th. God help me.
Yeah.
New articles, is that under there?
But yeah, you might notice that Marley was supposed to be in this episode today, but tropical systems are a thing. So
Gosh dang it. DAS's website has a link to their new article, and it's fucking 404.
Oof. Yeah, most of their articles 404.
Yeah.
But yeah, so next week will definitely be a busy episode because Marley is expected to be able to join that one, and there's a lot going down in Florida. Tropical systems. One that I can tease for next week is an incident involving Quandale Dingle and NOAA Weather Radio Stream. Oh, did you not see that yesterday in the chat?
Oh no.
Some kid with a Baofeng and Quandale Dingle.
Why do people trust little kids with Baofangs? Just why the fuck?
Well, like I was saying yesterday, and
14.
I don't remember what chat it was specifically, but I was like, all legality aside, it's funny, but it's also illegal, so it's not really funny.
We don't condone the use of transmitting over any official frequencies. We don't condone it. We don't support it. If you do it, you're fucked. Just don't do it. Don't do it around us.
Yeah, especially like even Marley was telling me over DMs, like especially in like the time where there's like a tropical system right there. That's like the worst time to do it.
There are a couple of participants here that are licensed operators, so don't fuck with people here.
And I can tell you right now, I am not one of those.
I am one.
I gotta get a hand license at some point. At some point, I gotta do it. But
so I was actually going to a couple of years ago, and then I just kind of got busy with work, and then I just set it on the back burner and kind of forgot about it.
I was gonna do one, but then COVID happened. So yeah, fucking COVID ruined a lot of stuff.
So yeah, next week on the ERN podcast, we will have live, or not live, but in like more first person, I guess, information
Marley
on the stuff happening in Florida. Yeah, hopefully Marley will be back. But so yeah, we'll have more information on what it was like there in Florida. Like even Marley said, Marley was telling me that part of her house flooded.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
I think I actually mentioned it here. But there are 4 new offices that can issue tropical products this year. State College is one of them. Binghamton is one of them. I think Albany is getting more areas, and I think Binghamton, or what's it called? Birmingham, Vermont.
Yeah.
They're all getting capabilities. Why didn't no one tell me my GR was off? It was shut off for the past, I don't know how long.
It is a Gorman Red
You
Book.
do realize I do use a GR so fucking. I almost never use a GR. So when we first did the ERN podcast number 3, I looked over here at this fucker, and it was frozen for a day, and I didn't even notice. It was frozen for a day. It was stuck on
That's
the 20. It was
surprising.
stuck on like the 21st or something. When it was the 22nd, I'm like,
Was it
how
your
does that happen?
your end deck or was it your cap deck?
The actual ENDEC froze. It actually froze. It was literally frozen. It was like a day behind. The clock wasn't mentioning. The clock wasn't actually moving either. So I'm like,
So let me basically repeat what we said in a different episode. Don't buy a Gorman Red Book if you're gonna do what we do.
I have the GR. The guy I contact for the GR. He was like, send me your email so I can like track where all the GRs are. I'm like, why would anyone want to buy this now? I mean, it's gonna get replaced by a Sage in a couple months. You just gotta suffer. The GRs are. The station I got this from had a G.
Can I buy it?
Huh?
Why would you want to buy it?
I got the GR from a station in Ohio. I pressed the button I shouldn't have. Okay, it's good. Oops. Whoops.
Oops. It's kind of like your TFT with the weeklies. It's just oops.
This thing actually got the PEP weeklies and didn't even send them.
Oh, speaking of PEP weeklies,
It just decided that it ain't gonna do that today.
do we know any more information on what was going on with that?
I think it happens every once in a while. FEMA tests the PEP connections. It's just a weekly. It doesn't go anywhere if it's a PEP. In fact, my
That's
Sage wouldn't even take it, which is a red flag for me because the Sage always takes stuff. And so what actually happened was PEP wasn't in any of my filters, so it just
Oh.
ignored it.
Yeah, I managed to my DASDEC. Yeah, my DASDEC didn't relay it because of how I have my alert node set up. Not that I really cared about PEP weeklies, anyways.
I added the PEP weekly to my. I added PEP originator to my required RWT filter because that already has all of DC in it, and because the freaking alert is sent with all of DC, it triggers my local weekly filter. Because
Speaking of all of
Yeah, I know.
DC, Missoula.
yeah, that's Missoula. Missoula will send with all of DC, so good luck.
Yeah, Missoula's RMT has for some reason the DC code in it. So
It triggers my WTOP filter, even though they fail more than you guys do. Not a surprise.
that's fair. Yeah.
They actually almost forgot EOMs when they were doing flash flood warnings. Yes, a couple days. I think on Friday or Thursday, they almost forgot EOMs on their flash flood warnings. They started going to traffic and they didn't send EOMs.
Nice.
Once again, why use NWR? It's there for a reason. They actually told me that they don't do it because it's too annoying and it's too like crappy. The audio is too shitty. It's not true. My audio sounds just fine when I send mine. My NWR audio is just fine, albeit with Sanjin Station, but it sounds fine. It sounds just fine. And they make it sound like it's such a gruesome task to set up just one weather radio. And the
Unless
fact
it's Quo.
that fucking iHeart DC has a weather radio on W2736. It sounds really good, yet they don't send fucking weather radio stuff. They only send monthlies. And I know this because when the Virginia tornado drill happened, they sent the NWR monthly and nothing else. We'll get like tours and flash warnings and stuff, and they don't send them. So like you have the weather radio connected. We know they have one. They don't use it. It just sits there like for months. It just sits there.
Yeah.
Come on, DC, do better.
DC's gonna turn to you and go, no.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank God I know someone who works at a local primary that gets me on the SB-37, SB-337 stuff that they send all the DC EAS updates with.
Nice.
Yo, I need to plink around my local town to see if I can find some.
Uh-oh, someone froze.
Yeah, you're here.
If you are an LPFM, you can actually join your local society of broadcast engineers, which is the SBE. I was just talking about. That has 37 as DC, but I'm looking right now. There's a Hong Kong SBE. That's nice. There is a Milwaukee SBE chapter. It's SBE chapter 28 in Milwaukee. Hey, it has EAS information on it.
I should probably check him out, go and see if I can like plink around and say hi.
Wisconsin's Amber Alert. No,
Wisconsin's
Amber Alert code literally. Wisconsin's Amber Alert thing on this website mentions the fucking TFT.
Yeah.
I shit you not. It says TFT on the site.
Nice.
Let's not talk about that.
I'm sending a link to it. Hold on.
That's awesome.
Look at that one. It says TFT.
Where'd you send it?
Regular chat in the.
Anna, is your stream down?
I should look at that. Hold on. I think I've seen this one before. Yes, has been for a while. I've been working on a patch for a backend thing where I kept running out of space on Gabe's server due to it logging every single alert that came in. Every single alert that came in, and it logged the audio, and I wound up using like 4+ gigs of space. It's going. We're working on it. Everything that we're working on for that backend stuff is experimental. Where we've actually, Gabe and I sat down and talked for a bit. We're talking about using Docker containers to host everything, so you can run it on any computer that can run Docker. We're also
that'd be cool.
We're also talking about making it so it can run as a normal OS thing and splitting the ENDEC and the backend in a way where you can run the ENDEC on one computer, a backend on another, connect multiple ENDECs to one backend. Cool. So you could have like one cheap computer running the backend and then several powerful servers running multiple ENDECs. So you could do basically load balancing using the ENDEC, which would be cool.
Okay, I think I found the best thing ever. On SBE-24's website in 2004, they did the required like EAS code upgrade stuff, if you know what I mean. You remember that? Like the big overhaul in 2004? There's a website with all the main manufacturers and all the prices for upgrades. And I will go through them because it's actually very surprising. TFT sold theirs for $100 plus $10 shipping and handling, which is not bad. Sage, you can either do a $150 ROM upgrade or use the DOS program. GR is fucking $215. Burke was free. I can't believe I'm saying that, but Burke's upgrade was free. And the MTS is on this. It was $50, give or take. And the fucking Holly Ann, $150 plus shipping and handling. So I don't know, which one would you want?
Or you guys could just get the WACN Technologies ENDEC and yeah.
So. Which still says all of DC is just coded DC. Upgrade my FIPS codes. Update my FIPS codes, please. Thank you. My index.
Submit a pull request to the repo.
I don't know where to find that, and I don't know how to fix it. So
it's on GitHub, and it's actually quite easy. It's just a big ass list.
I know, but I don't know how to get that into the ENDEC because I don't know if it's combined with something that I can't access.
So basically, all you need to do is go to the repo, make a pull request, say, "Hey, update this to be that." I'll be like, "Okay." I'll submit the thing, and then all you need to do is you need to update. I need to update some of the packages in the ENDEC, push it, and it will just change it to the ENDEC. Yeah, because bear in mind the ENDEC uses EAS to text for that. So you just need to go to GitHub and make a pull request for that. So yeah. That's how.
I don't. I'll figure it out. I don't use GitHub ever, so I wouldn't know. We'll figure it out after. Have you seen Wisconsin's EAS plan website? It's so in depth. There are like 10 appendixes.
At least
there's.
Yeah, I wish.
There's the main
section,
the monitoring assignments, the NWR coverage and stations, the master EAS events code, the authorized EAS activation sources, the Wisconsin local areas, the state emergency communications committee, EAS plan approvals, monitoring assignment waivers, FCC map books, alerting activation summaries, and I think there's an Amber one here somewhere. I forgot where it was.
If you have documentation, I guess it's really easy to know
why
what
is Wisconsin
you're doing.
so good?
Meanwhile, New York City over here, like, we activate CAP whenever the fuck we feel like it.
That's New Hampshire.
New Hampshire's sole purpose in this world is demo.
Yeah.
Virginia's EAS plan has not been updated for 2022, which
if it makes you feel better, Montana's hasn't been updated since 2016.
If it makes you feel better, New York's like 10 years old, I think.
Fair. If New York can do it, anyone can. And then you'll get the New Hampshire State Police has active.
The New Hampshire State Police has activated the emergency alert system in order to conduct an I don't even know why we do this every day test.
I don't even send New Hampshire anymore. They don't deserve such luxury.
My ex-boyfriend my ex-boyfriend is friends with the chief of the state police, meaning he knows who sends that demo every day, and I personally told him to tell them that I hate their guts. I do.
Yeah, no, I have on my station, I block all demos, no matter if it's from ERN, local, NWR.
Why do you block local demos?
The only reason I do is because I have it set up so that I could forward it if I want, but it has to be manual.
Okay.
So in the rare case that I do want to forward a demo,
I usually have Marley send locally coded demos with my FIPS codes. Like if I'm not home and I need her to test, like if my station is actually working.
Well, I guess the only reason that I guess it doesn't make sense for me to do that is because I have a DAS, so it has a website for it. So I guess if I need someone to send me a demo, I'll just have them send a demo, and then I just look at the logs for the DAS, and it should just be in my alerts. Which I can remote access my DASDEC from anywhere.
Then we got the Sage where you have to go into the alert log for it. And then I have to buy another serial cable because I have to buy another serial cable because in order for the ENDEC remote to work, I have to buy another serial cable and then plug that into the station PC.
Mm-hmm.
Serial cables. I've had mine for a while. They work still somehow.
As long as
Can you send me an Amazon link?
I don't know how they still work.
Just look up serial to USB.
The ones I get are shit, so they're not gonna last. The ones I get are shit and not gonna last more than a month. I don't know how this one's lasted for, but
Cameron, can you send me the serial cables that you use for the DAS?
Yeah, I can. I'll send it to you after this episode.
Okay.
Yeah.
This episode is already many minutes long. It is currently 30 minutes long. So if you're listening still, hello. Hope you don't fall asleep.
Yeah, honestly, we might make this episode a little bit shorter than we usually do. Like, usually our episodes are like an hour and a half, but
I don't know if it's a good thing or not, but
Hey, John, I just found a Burke version 1.01 user manual on their website.
I don't know if that's a good thing or not, but I am helping. I am somehow
helping. I also
helping.
found what version 1.15 actually did.
Hooray, logic! We love logic. In ERA, we are very logical.
Yeah, for real.
What?
But
hooray! Good job.
Oh, that's right. Oof.
Yeah. No, honestly, I don't know.
The ping counts at 10, by the way, and I don't feel bad.
Yep. But yeah, hopefully next week we'll have more info on DAS. I'm gonna reach out to them after we're done recording this, and then hopefully we'll have more info. So I guess the suspense is getting real on it, honestly.
Find out next week in the ERN podcast if Cameron...
They completely skipped DAS-III. They decided to not release it, and they're going straight to DAS-IV.
They pulled an Apple regarding the iPhone 9.
Uh-huh.
The iPhone 9 did exist. It was made for your mom. I'm kidding.
Oh, jeez.
I don't know. That was so bad.
Yeah.
But this point is immeasurable.
Don't worry, we're all disappointments here.
Yeah.
We're all disappointments in our own way.
Microphone go bork. Remember, kids, if you have more than one microphone, learn how to use them.
Yeah. No, I guess there's not much else to talk about, but let's see. Do you guys have anything else you guys really want to talk about, or
should I open up my GR? I've never opened it up. I should open it up.
Sure, I've never seen inside one.
I should open up I should. Why don't I open up the phone? Why don't I open up the fucking cap deck? It's not like there's anything useful in it. It's fucking 2 gigabytes of RAM.
Yeah.
And a furry on top of it because this big boy is on here. He protect the burr.
Yeah, I feel like it might be time to wrap up already. I mean, short episode, but we'll have a pretty packed episode next week.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. Like, there's not much we can talk about if there's not much going on. We're just waiting on DAS to get their shit together. Oh, wait, hold on. They did release firmware version 4.4. We almost forgot that.
Oh yeah, we did.
Ayo.
Yeah.
How much you want to bet it's just bug fixes and performance upgrades?
I actually looked into it. They added a new event code thing, but it doesn't seem like any of those event codes are actually used. So
yeah.
I don't
like
know
there was
why
like
they
what
did that.
diagnostic heartbeat.
It says our new version 4.4 software continues to strengthen EAS/CAP security and compliance management. This upgrade is way beyond a few code tweaks or simple changes. It comprises a substantial series of security-minded features along with several new functions and improvements, all in response to a wide range of customer requests and in line with the latest FCC compliance requirements. Adding new CAP tools like the new WIA 2.0 format and the ability to cancel an active CAP alert, coupled with powerful and unique features like triggered CAP polling, Version 4.1 users can leverage the benefits of cat message over simple EAS text, thereby presenting critical information in far more detail. Blah, blah,
Wasn't
blah, blah,
triggered
blah.
cat polling already a thing?
I don't even know what they said because they have a thing that says you can read more about the 4.4 upgrade, and it literally says version 4.0 brochure. What?
Yeah, which is weird because I haven't updated that in a while.
It says find more on the 4.4 upgrade by reading the data sheet, and it says 4.0 brochure. But at least you can upgrade to 4.4 with a password. I don't care. Piss off. Oh dear God.
Yeah, I guess it was a pretty minor upgrade. I'm just kind of waiting for 5.
Yeah.
The 4.4 brochure doesn't even load. What the hell, Daz? Learn to what?
I'm guessing that version 5 is going to take a bit because they did say that the DASDEC-III was finalized hardware, but version 5 was very, very much beta. So I'm guessing that's going to take a while to release. I'm pretty sure that
reminds me.
They may have upgraded 4.4 to at least have the DAS5 or fucking hell, the DAS-III. Let's not jump the gun there, bud. I'm guessing they did 4.4 to have DAS-III at least have a newer update whenever it releases. I don't know. Hell, we might see a version. We might see version 5 whenever.
Who here is Who here is gonna watch the WWDC on Monday?
What's that?
The Apple event on Monday, where they announced the new softwares. Who's watching that?
I know I am.
I know Cameron might because he has an Apple. Cameron has an Apple Watch. I bet he's watching that.
Cam has an Apple everything, so.
I have one. I literally, and I'm not kidding you. I have one Apple, at least one, from each product division of Apple.
You're gonna love WWDC then, because they're gonna kill your phone with many software upgrades, which this 10R can't handle because it's 3 years old, and I don't even know if it.
I still
so bad.
I still don't like iPhone because, to put it simply, it feels like I'm buying a phone that I don't own. You know.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, Google's existence on iPhones is.
Here's a thing with my Pixel. Yes, I know Google tracked my data, but I can turn that off. I can sideload entirely different operating systems. I could sideload apps that aren't on the App Store. With Mac, you need it to be on the App Store, and if Apple decides that they don't like you enough, to have fun doing that. I can't develop apps for iPhone.
It doesn't actually, for the Mac, it doesn't have to be an App Store app as long as you allow it through the M1 or whatever the device operating system settings menu is. Sometimes it hates it. Sometimes it's like, this is not an identified developer, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, I don't care. I'm just going to control click you and open it manually because.
Yeah, from what I have seen about the iPhones,
the only real way you can jailbreak.
Yeah, you can jailbreak, but if you jailbreak, your warranty is oofed.
This thing has no warranty. It's 3 years old and it doesn't. And I took it in for repair and they're like, "Fuck you." Not really, but it's true. I can literally go into my phone settings and it literally fucking says, where is it? I'm trying to find it. Where is it? Coverage expired. There is literally no limited warranty, no actual warranty on this phone. In fact,
well, I guess that would make sense. So it is 3 years.
It's probably cheaper to buy a new phone than to get a new phone to repair this one. It's sad but true.
That's just to be fair. That's all technology though nowadays. Like,
no, actually, believe it or not, like
to be fair, I perfectly understand why people want to stick with their technology when it works. Like, my parents were so opposed to upgrading their phones because they had the home button and now they don't. And they're like, why would I upgrade something that already works just fine? And we have that problem sometimes at my house and wherever. I see people all the time. They're like, I want to get this new stuff. There's like two types of people. I want all the latest stuff, or the people that are like, it works. I don't need to upgrade it. I'm staying with this device. And so, which one would you be?
Mm-hmm.
Whenever the whenever iPhone decides to make developers better than second-class people and decide to make their phones cheaper than an arm, a leg, your first child, and your liver, I'll look at it. But until then, like for example, like what one person who was helping me develop a thing, they're like, yeah, I tried to make an app for iPhone and it wouldn't let me load it without jailbreaking. The issue is that there's sideloading apps for development. It only allows that app to be on there for like 1 day and then it just permanently deletes it. Like completely gone. Like if you had any prototype data on there, nope, not anymore.
Ooh.
Yeah, so it's like any kind of logs, they're gone. Any kind of app data, no, that's gone. And it's like, why would you do that to a developer? Like, here's the thing. Let's say I'm making an app for an iPhone. I need to prototype it, right?
On iPhone.
Yeah, let's say in theory I wanted to make the ENDEC on an iPhone. I need to prototype it. I need to make sure that it runs. How the hell am I supposed to make sure that it runs for an extended period of time if the app deletes itself by 1 day? Like, how? It's like a slap in the face to every single developer for that. That's like, imagine you building an app for a mass market on Windows, but every 30 seconds, as long as that app is loaded, the computer goes into sleep mode no matter what and will permanently destroy your log files whenever it does it. Like, or let's say you're building yeah, it's just dumb. It's like, hi, we understand you're developing something for it, but we're going to make it physically harder for you to do that. Like, I cannot, that's why I'm not building any apps for iPhone. Because, for example, some apps that I do, like, for example, CAP interface, I don't know if it'll work because there's no way that I can test it if there's no messages over a CAP. I've got to wait for a CAP message. And if that takes longer than 1 day, what am I going to do? Because it's just going to wipe itself, you know?
Yeah.
It's so dumb.
Plot twist. The hardware ENDEC is just going to be 2 iPads.
Apple literally takes stuff so seriously, and I agree. Apple does stuff that is kind of
so. I'm actually looking at ways to run the hardware ENDEC. So far, the idea is I am gonna prototype a case for my rack by 3D printing it. I've even got I went on Thingiverse and found a 3D printable case. I'm gonna modify it for my needs. The idea that I'm having for one is to have the back end doesn't need to run powerful because it's not doing a lot. It's just streaming audio because the ENDECs themselves that connect to the back end are the actual power hungry annoyances because they've got to process as many monitors and they've got to also have the stream in and stream out. So those are the actual power hungry ones. The back end shouldn't be that power hungry because it only has to deal with one interface per ENDEC, right? So the back end so far is going to be running on my Raspberry Pi 3B that I have lying around because I don't have a 4. And I'm going to put it in that case and see what I can do. I'm also going to I want to try to make it a 1U rack and have a smaller, like I'm somewhere around here I have a 4x16 LCD, but if that doesn't fit, I'm going to drop down to 2x16, which is the one that the DAS uses right now. Not DAS-III. DAS-III uses 4x16. But so we're gonna experiment with that, and hopefully I can get at least a prototype case working. The back end isn't going to work yet because I want to put a computer in it, which means that hopefully around my next paycheck, I should be able to get a small ITX board that I could prototype ENDECs off of because. I want to prototype the ENDEC in 2 different ways. I want to have it able to run on one computer through Docker containers, right? And I want to prototype it where I'm running it on 2 separate computers. So like the backend runs on a Raspberry Pi while the ENDEC runs on a desktop PC. So
that's interesting though, to like mix and match
me who still hasn't been freaking me here laughing because I was supposed to be paid on the first and I still haven't got my paycheck. I don't know.
So here's one thing. Lawson will know what this is. I've been looking at Latte Pandas for the actual ENDEC interface, and it should support over a USB 3 interface at least 4 SDRs. And the reason why Latte Pandas is, believe it or not, they're actually way easier to get than a normal Pi 4 right now, and actually they're way more powerful. They're more expensive because like a Pi 4 right now is actually like $150. Believe it or not, it's like actually quite expensive. But the Latte Panda is like $250, so it's about $100 more. But it's like 4 times the speed. It can run any 64-bit operating system, so I can just slap a normal instance of Ubuntu on there. Hell, they're designed to run Windows. So it legitimately has like I think it's like a Celeron. It's actually pretty cool. But
Yeah.
so that's plenty of processing power for the ENDEC. And then the back end is going to run on something smaller because the way that I want to do it is I'm going to have I want to do it in a way where it's like the actual hardware units that you can buy is going to run in a modular aspect. So you have one backend box, right? The backend box will include one ENDEC inside, so one Latte Panda inside, and one backend interface. And you can do this. You can either keep buying those boxes so you can have multiple backends, so you can have one ENDEC per backend, or you can buy an interface box that has like 2 Latte Pandas in there, but no backend, and they connect to the primary box.
How would they connect though? How are you planning on having it connect? Like physical connection or network?
It's network. The entire backend system is going to be running through sockets because that allows me. No, it's actually way better than you think. The reason why is we're talking about Unix sockets, not TCP. So they're different.
Why do you think none of this stuff here runs on the internet?
Well, that's the thing. That's the thing. Whenever I'm talking about internet, I don't mean actually that. I mean like you could have it hooked up to a network switch, and they're not actually connecting to the internet except for CAP stuff. They're just talking to each other via the switch. So
a local connection.
Yeah, it's all local. But that's why you can.
I prefer not to work. I prefer not to work on local networks just to less cause problems, because none of this stuff here, none of my EAS equipment connects to networks in any way, shape, or form, because I would prefer a unit that can work without any network or Ethernet or whatever disruptions, because in that case, it wouldn't have to rely on that. It would instead run over systems in case internet.
That's the thing. These will not rely on internet. The only thing they will use internet for is CAP. Whenever I'm talking local connections, I don't
required by FCC.
Yeah.
You just said it could. You just said it would connect to 4 SDRs. So how would you get local sources through this thing or that thing?
Well,
without using internet or local hosts.
Well, here's the thing. SDRs are USB devices. They're USB radios. So like the SDRs will be local on the thing. So basically your base model, you don't need to connect it to the internet unless you're using CAP. It will have 4 SDRs. So internally,
how would you control the SDRs through? How would you control the SDRs through the USB though?
Well, they're going to be connected to an app that controls them through like a front panel. That's why it's going to have an LCD.
How would you connect to the front panel if there's no internet through your app or whatever?
The front panel of the actual unit will be on the actual unit that will be in the rack. Same exact way.
I'm just checking for redundancies. I'm checking for redundancies here just because, there always needs to be a redundancy.
Here's the way that it's going to work. You have two different ways of controlling this unit. You can do it front panel, which is kind of like the Easy Plus. You don't need to connect the Easy Plus to the Easy Plus app. It gives you more functionality, but you don't need to. You can control it almost completely through the front panel. Same exact thing with my ENDEC. You can configure the radios. You can tell it like to send an alert. It's going to be limited on what alerts it can send via front panel because I would like it to be mostly used through the web interface, which the web interface will be local only. Unless you port forward it, which the web interface it's an entirely different thing. The web interface won't actually be, but it will be included, but it's going to communicate through an API system. And the reason why is that allows us to open source the API system and allows anybody to build any kind of interface with it. So here's the reason why we want to do that. If you want to build a hardware interface, let's say you have a switch, like a network switch that isn't hooked up to the internet, it's just plugged into the box, right? You could either plug it into a computer and use the built-in interface to communicate with it, right? Or you could build your own hardware like interface thing so you can like click a button and send a weekly. And you could have that be a separate box that you built, you control through the API system. So it's going to be user configurable that way.
That'll be nice.
And here's the other thing. The reason we want to use sockets for this is it allows you to use the internet if that is an option. You don't have to. Same exact idea with the DASDEC. You don't need to hook it up to the internet. You can use it only over daisy chain. Although you'd be stupid to do that. Same with the Sage Digital. You can have it run without cap. Once again, it'd be stupid, but you can.
I don't even think it's legal.
In some places it is. You could do that in Arkansas and get away with it.
Because all FCC requirements require all units to be able to pull IPOS cap. That's just how it works. Because how would you pull it in an emergency? How would you pull it if NPT was if an NPT was sent over IPOS, you were supposed to get it from IPOS, but yeah.
Basically, my ENDEC will be set up in a way where it can utilize the internet if you do. And here's the reason why I want to do that master and slave box. Because let's say you're a radio station and you have multiple transmitters. Let's say you have 4 transmitters, right? You can buy individual like half U boxes that will just sit in the rack, kind of like these radio receivers right here in my rack. You see how they only cover like half the area? So I have 2 right here, side by side. And that, hold on. Well, I can still hear you anyway. Using that kind of interface allows me to do one thing. It allows me to have changeable parts. So let's say I have one U interface with 2 boxes right here. This is the back end, and this is the actual ENDEC, right? Using that interface, let's say your back end breaks. You don't need to send in the entire thing. You just need to swap out the back end module. And they will communicate in this rack via some kind of serial standard. It just makes it easier. Either serial or like a internal Ethernet cable or something like that. So they can talk back and forth without any use of the internet. However, if you do want to use the internet, you can connect the backend module, not the ENDEC. There's a reason why. The backend module to the internet, and it will allow the backend to pull cap and send it to the ENDEC interfaces, right? And it will be configurable, so you can say if you have more than one ENDEC hooked up to the backend, let's say this ENDEC is serving this area, this ENDEC is serving this area, this ENDEC is serving this area. Let's say this area gets cap. I don't want to send cap to all of them. I can tell it, just send to this one. That's why it'll be configured by the backend. But that also allows you, since you're communicating via the internet, it allows you to do this. Let's say, like I said, you have 3 transmitters, one serving this area, and this area, and you have the backend at this one. you can still set it up in a way where if you're utilizing the internet, and let's say theoretically in this situation, we have a strong internet connection that it's like a local network between these 3 transmitters and it never goes down. That's unrealistic, but let's say that happens. You could have, like, since they're one half U, you could have just a 1/2 U box sitting at each of those transmitters with an ENDEC in there communicating to that base backend station down here. So what I can do is I can say, hey, each of these ENDECs have 4 radios in it. Receive NWR, FM, and AM here, NWR, FM, and AM here, NWR, FM, and AM here, and I can just communicate all of those through them. If I want to send a weekly on all of my transmitters all at once, I could say through the backend, hey, send this announcement message to all ENDECs at the same time, and they'll all go off at once. Here's the other thing in doing that. The other thing is cool that it's using the internet. You can actually use pings to tell exactly how much delay there is between each ENDEC. So if I'm sending a weekly all at once through all transmitters, I can do a ping message to all ENDECs to find the approximate delay and say, hey, before you send this message, add this much delay. So they all go off at the exact same time.
Anna is being excessively geeky here. My brain hurts. So yeah, let's just slightly change the topic. At ERN here, we have a lot of redundancies in our software and program.
Well, that's what you need in
ERN
emergency
weeklies,
equipment for sure.
Except for the ERN weeklies, which never seem to happen. Third week in a row. Also, it's 1:15, not 1, and it scared the crap out of me when it went off. It's 1:15, it always was 1:15, and someone made it 1. Somebody made it 1, and then somebody sent it twice.
Bruh. I know why it's getting sent twice. The reason why is, funnily enough, DASDEC. It's the DASDEC's issue. Because what's happening is it's being sent through the system since our 5th generation is done entirely in the back end and it's all automated. What happened that's how we can add on a new participant, and the next time we send a monthly or a weekly, their area is already included. But if you think about it, we have a unique issue, and actually it's going to get worse now because we have now 2 sets of participants that serve the same local area. We have John and Tuesday Aura. And now we have, we had Iowan and Fricks. And the reason why is the back end isn't smart enough to omit duplicate FIPS codes.
His should be 051600 for Fairfax City. Or mine should be 051059 for Fairfax County.
Also, it's been in my phone as 1:15 for a month, and now it's at 1, and it pisses me off. Now I have to go through and change the calendar.
I'll poke at it. Fix it.
Gosh darn it!
I'll poke at it. I'll fix it. Just remind me to set it to 1:15. I don't know why it hasn't been working either. No one knows because the service is working perfectly fine, and it seems to just work, but it also seems to not. So I don't know what's going on anymore.
Redundancy. I will send my own weeklies when the monthly fails. In fact, I've done it before.
So I will poke at it. But knowing what's going on, it's probably like Liam noticed a freaking backend service he hadn't seen before and just shut it down.
Liam being Liam. It happens all the time.
So the reason why every single time we send the ERN monthly and it goes over twice is because what happens is since the backend doesn't filter out those duplicate codes, it gets sent over with the duplicate codes. It hits the DASDECs, which filters them out. So now we essentially have an alert with duplicate codes and an alert without duplicate codes. And whenever that hits the second sets of ENDECs, they think it's a new alert and they send it anyway. So
that feeling when all of Connecticut goes just to all of Connecticut.
Fun fact, I think
it's actually really funny because my Sage has a semi delay with the ERN monthlies. What actually happens is it will send the first one, but then the second one actually gets yeeted because the first one isn't done sending. it's really funny when it happens because like the FIPS codes are long enough, so it just is like because my WTOP filter is 8 seconds of attention, and because it takes a while to process one alert. By the time a second one gets there, it's not done with the first one, so it just kind of just log onlys. I'm fine with that. It's not illegal, but I already sent it once. I don't need to send the same one twice.
Yeah, I'm
For now.
I'm gonna see
For
if
now.
whenever I have the system generate them from now on, if it notices a duplicate, it will just like because this problem is relatively simple to fix because all you need to do is say, hey, we're going through FIPS codes, right? To add each new FIPS code on. Hey, does this FIPS code already exist? Okay. Just get rid of it. We already have it. In fact, that's why if you send an alert with multiple of the same FIPS code using the software ENDEC, the FIPS code, the EAS to text generation also does that because it was actually easier for me to work with the backend string. But the FIPS generation doesn't. So if you send an alert with all of Connecticut, all of Connecticut, all of Connecticut, the alert text will just say all of Connecticut, but the actual FIPS code will have 3 of all of Connecticut in there. It is, I don't know. I don't know anymore. That's why whenever my station sent the same alert twice and I was like, wait, what's going on? The text works exactly the same because it got rid of those duplicate event codes in the text. The only difference is the FIPS codes. So yeah, that's a backend thing we need to fix. Same with it just not going off. But yeah.
When the TFT refuses to take that weekly I sent. Too bad.
Do you know why? Or is it just doing a TFT?
Yeah, I'm restarting a TFT. If it's something weeklies again, I'm unplugging it. It shouldn't, but you know, me breaking things is the best. Me breaking things is the best thing ever because people make them better because I break
See,
them.
I need to I need to do a
Fix the CapDeck audio exporter.
I will. We were already working. Gabe was working on that, and something was going on. I don't know.
Has it proven more difficult than first expected? Has it proven more difficult?
Well,
than expected?
Gabe was working on a compiling thing, and it seemed to work, but I don't know what he was doing, and I don't know how to get what he was doing. So it's in like the entire backend generations thing.
Nice.
I don't know. That's a Gabe thing.
Let me just make sure it's working real quick by just SSHing in.
Here's the one good thing with the idea with the software ENDEC, you should be able to run it on the next version of the software ENDEC with all this backend stuff. You should be able to run it on any computer that runs Docker, which means that you don't have to worry about those versioning issues that like you have, John. Because, well, you're running basically. Do you know what Docker is, John?
No.
Docker is actually pretty cool.
I don't.
It's basically think of it like, hey, I want to run this service. Let's say I want to run a web page, but I'm already doing something on my current computer and I cannot destroy that interface, right? What I can do is I can spin up a Docker container. What just happened?
My TFT and my Sage had the weekly at the exact same time. Like exactly the same time it's sent.
But
I like testing things.
basically, whenever it comes to Docker, it allows you to basically create a virtual Linux environment. So I could have like an isolated Linux environment that it has specifically this kernel version and specifically these modules. And it can be like dumbed down to only run what you need it to.
I already have.
Yeah, but the thing about...
I already have virtual Linux.
Well, here's the thing about Docker. Docker can have exactly what we tell it to at compiled runtime and nothing else. So let's say we want this specific version of Apache. for a web server, we can have it run this specific version of Apache, and you don't have to deal with dependency hell because it deals with it for you.
Oh, I was about to say, if you get compatibility errors,
Yeah.
good luck.
Yeah, you don't, because what happens is it's just a configuration file that we give you, that it basically tells the Docker container, the thing that actually holds this basically virtualized Linux environment, exactly what to do. We use it for work, for my job, and that's why I can run one command and go from not having any of our virtual environment set up for work, and within like 30 minutes, I will have the full virtual environment set up, everything running, our entire front end and back end server up, and I only had to run one command. The Docker is cool. Yeah. So we are thinking about using Docker because we won't have to deal with the dependency hell that you're having, because we can just specify exactly what kernel to use. Gets rid of the dependency hell because you don't have that dependency.
Gotta love dependencies. This episode of the ERN podcast is not sponsored by DigitalOcean, which is what runs WJO IP. I'm sorry, it runs the WACN 24/7 stream, which technically I like to call it WJO IP HD2, just because it's like my station, except we don't give a fuck what goes over it. Because the Sage actually has more sophisticated filters now compared to the weather scan stream, because I don't care what goes over the weather scan stream. It takes fucking everything.
Yeah.
Except for Marley's marine warning problems.
Anyway. Hey, Cam, what's your thoughts?
On...
Yes.
I like the idea of running Docker. I haven't really experimented with it too much, but I think it's easier just in the long run to be able to make changes.
Okay.
Is that what you were looking for?
I mean, the cool thing about Docker is it'll allow us to just push an update by just pushing a new container. So it's like, hey, let's say we've changed an entire logging backend system and it now uses these three things. We don't need to recompile anything for you. We just send you a new container and it's just like, okay, it does it for you.
Yeah. It takes out a lot of the
hassle, yeah.
The hassle. Which I guess is what you need for stuff like this.
And the other cool part about the Docker containers is we can lock them down in a way where it's like, hey, here's an IPOS thing you cannot touch. We literally cannot show you because it's part of our I think it's an NDA with IPOS or whatever. Our contract with IPOS. You cannot see this. But we have to have this for IPOS to work. What we can do is we can just lock down that part of Docker so you can't see it. Mm-hmm. So it's still there, still works perfectly fine, and you can plink around with anything else that we allow you to look at, but that part is locked down so we don't have iPods crawling up our ass going, what did you just do?
I don't need that iPods. How do you think I got on that mailing list? I don't know if I'm supposed to be on there. It's supposed to be for emergency management, actually, but I have a field I'm playing. One of my career paths is actually in emergency management, so I think I should
go talk to the EOCs around here. You know who I should go talk to? I need to go talk to ASC because their headquarters ASC and what's the other one? You have the ASC and then you have the other one.
Don't know.
Is it ATA? No, it's ASC.
Wisconsin Public Safety or something.
No, it's siren manufacturer.
Ooh, that should be fun.
Yeah, ASC is a siren manufacturer. There's one other one. So I forget who they are. But basically, I should go and talk to them, be like, yo, guys, how's it going? Can I get a siren? I could actually go and...
You never know until you ask.
I mean, hey, I think it's ASC's ASC's workshop, like literally right in front of their workshop area, they have a siren graveyard. So you're like, maybe.
Nice.
Who knows?
Anyways, I think it is wrap up time. It's an hour and 10 minutes in, and I have work tomorrow.
Yeah, I think this was. I love how about 30 minutes ago I was saying that we should have wrapped up because there was not much to talk about. I think this. Yeah, that's the ERN podcast for you. I think this episode should be named like WACN ENDEC.
Whacking.
Just random stuff.
WACN ENDEC.
Just random
Whacking.
stuff. John and Anna
Yeah,
trading blows. Maybe. Oh.
But yeah, so if you want more information on ERN, you could check out GWES-EAS.network. If you're looking for more information on GWES itself, you can go to globaleas.org. If you want more information on WACN technologies, you can go to, what is it again? ACRN?
ACRN.GWES-EAS.network.
Yeah, that is acrn.gwes-eis.network. But yeah, so next week we're hoping for a little bit more of a...
Just reminder that you're not going to find anything there that is interesting. It hasn't been updated in literal months because I have better things to do with my life.
If you would like to find out more information about our participants, annoy us on Discord. We'll annoy you back. Maybe.
Yeah,
It depends on if we're at work.
I'll just give you the knee.
I have something fun. I have something fun to share after this ends. By the way.
Okay.
But yeah, so next week we're hoping for a little bit more of a packed episode. But yeah, so yeah, if you're liking, yeah, hopefully Daz will do something. But yeah, if you're enjoying the podcast, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And yeah, thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.
Hooray!